Okay, so we have Venus in Gemini in the 9th house. So wherever Venus is like gonna signify like sort of like Venus rules Taurus again, which is the 2nd house. So whereas the 2nd house kind of establishes one's values, same kind of thing with Venus. Wherever Venus is going to be like where you, or what it will signify like perhaps where you, the things that you find to be like having value. And that applies to like a romantic partner because Venus is also like love and stuff. So wherever Venus is like that's the things that you like. So the 9th house is higher education and knowledge and religion, and basically it's like concepts greater than oneself. So the 9th is opposite the 3rd. So whereas the 3rd, which is Gemini, so this is already kind of like a good place for Venus because it like kind of rules the same types of things, because the 3rd house is Mercury stuff, communication and knowledge exchange and learning, but like on like an immediate level the 3rd house is, and then it's opposing the 9th just structurally, whereas the 9th is then like then higher things like philosophy, concepts that are more than you. So you probably very much value intellectualism in a partner, but also just like in general, you probably think of that as people that are witty, maybe you're smart or knowledgeable about whatever, to have value to you, or that you think that they just do for the world or whatever, which you're probably right. You're probably also very attracted to folks that are genuinely intelligent, or like at least like striving to learn things or to comprehend concepts that are more than just, you know, the ordinary. The 9th house is Sagittarius, which is about seeking knowledge, seeking more. So you probably very much value that when somebody has like their eyes like on a concept or like on a prize that's bigger than them. That's probably something that's attractive to you. And then it's in Gemini, which is about like immediate friendships, communication, sociability. So there's probably an added level of like, oh, you want someone that can talk smart, can intellectualize with you, can like have like a good conversation, a good back and forth, that like you don't say things and it like goes over their heads. That's not fun. I've never felt that experience though myself, so I couldn't relate. No, I had that experience way too much. Am I like speaking to somebody and like I can just see them being like, I have no idea what this person's talking about. When is he gonna stop? So yeah, but yeah, so you very much probably like wouldn't like that. You probably value people that are able to express themselves with their words, whether that be written or spoken. But that is probably something that is very beautiful to you, and you probably find beauty in a lot of written or spoken art or works in general. Maybe you're a writer, maybe you like to read, maybe you don't. So there you go, that's astrology. No, but you likely look for those things in a partner, and those are the things that you find beauty in. So then additionally, because Venus is your chart ruler and is also ruling your moon, we find ourselves being informed of like your overall makeup now. So what we understood earlier to be that your moon in Taurus, Taurus, your sun in Cancer, is ruled by your moon. So your identity, the first thing it does is lives by feeling things emotionally, because your sun is in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. Then really the emotional consideration is what the moon is concerned with in its placement. The moon in Taurus is concerned with security, material pleasures, material security, security pleasures. Just kidding. So that's like the main thing, like the first filtration that like anything needs to go through to like be, is this acceptable to me? Does it feed my sense of security emotionally? And then we're finding out that after that, it then goes to Venus, because Venus rules that Taurus moon. And Venus is in the 9th in Gemini. So then Venus is saying, okay, it might serve me, it might be secure, it might be safe, it might feel good, it might taste good. Does it teach me something? Do I learn something from it? Does it communicate well? And therefore, because those things are beautiful to me, is now the next thought process that we're finding because of this Venus placement. We can also keep going now, because who rules Gemini? It's Mercury. You guessed it. And we've established that Mercury is in your 11th house, Leo. So actually, and this is going to go back in a loop now. So then we find out that after that, of this thinking, okay, well, does it have beauty? And what's beautiful to me is, does it teach me something? Do I learn? Is it seeking greater knowledge? Is it beautiful in those ways? And then it's, does it communicate in a way that is showy and flashy, I guess, or like maybe is flashy, but still with consideration for what's good for all. So again, this is an interesting placement for Leo to be 11th house, because it is contrasting, at least, because it's about the individual in the community being like kind of one in the way that you value communication, now being taken into consideration in the entire dispositor makeup, which just means rulership chain of the planets. So you first feel everything. You second assess if it has security or makes you feel secure in the material world. You third assess if it is beautiful to you. And then you fourth assess if it can communicate in a way that is concerned for all of us, or like that there's a level of humanitarian concerns for it, or that it has. So, and then we'll see, so now we can see that since Mercury is in Leo, well, what rules Leo? The sun. And now we have our sun back to Cancer, so we have a nice little loop here, and that closes itself off. Sometimes that doesn't happen all the time, or it'll just like have an ending, and then it's just like, okay, well, that's where that ends. But now we see that once we've established that it does uphold the Mercurian values of Leo being in the 11th house, it then goes back to you and your identity and your feelings. So, interesting. Okay, and actually we should consider though the house placement for the sun in this system. So again, we've established that your Cancer sun is in the 10th house, which gives your core identity just a total alignment regarding the way in which you and your energy intermingles with public energy and like your career path. So that is like a integral concern for how you might filter stuff regarding this lens of looking at your dispositor chain. So first, it's not just feeling emotions, it's feeling the feelings of the public, and whether it's good for your career potentially is the very first thing that you might consider. And then it goes to the moon, like we just said, but then we end with Mercury, not end because it goes into a loop. It's a closed loop, which again is not the case in everyone's chart. So that's a good thing. I would say. And I think it's just generally understood to be a good thing, because it means that like you have an engine that feeds itself in some regard. It could also mean that it's like, oh, there's not like a it might just keep going on, which it does, because it does. But so let's consider the fact that then after you establish that something has beauty, you establish if it can like communicate in a showy, demonstrative way that's still in a consideration for the community, and like holds those values of concern for everybody, in tandem with its individuality. Then it goes back to, but does it work again? So now that we've established that, now it goes right back to your sun of my career, and my feelings. So then does that community, does this thing or this person that, okay, great, they've checked all the blocks, whatever, does it then still work for how I feel and in my career path and in the way in which I relate to the public? Does it still fit that after I've understood its communication now, after I've understood its beauty, after I've understood the security it might bring, and after I've understood the initial emotional sense regarding how it relates to my public?